As a longtime player of Final Fantasy XI, my favorite times were those transition moments between jobs. After so much time playing the same job over and over again, I mean sometimes years at a time, you came to those days where you just needed a change. Maybe you saw another player do something crazy and it made you jealous. Maybe you heard a story, something that sounded insane, that went beyond what you thought was possible in the strict rules of the game. Or maybe you just saw some awesome gear. Point is, you were a black mage lifer, and now you're determined to be the best dancer there ever was. I've been through this process countless times, and it always goes the same. Step 1. Research. You hit up all the sites you know, reading ability details, forum posts, YouTube videos on what gameplay's like. Now you're feeling the vibes, job's looking fun, intense, different than you're used to, pulling off crazy solos that you can't do in your current job. All you can do is gravity and sleep things. This thing's right up in the enemy's face. No more kiting for you, you're gonna stab things right down their throat. Now you're getting excited. So you're ready, but not like really ready. Cause step 2, we need some gear. Now look, in 2018, life's gotten way easier with all the wardrobes, satchels, cases, storage, everything. Back in the day, changing a job meant changing your whole inventory. Even just to clear up some slots, you had to move stuff around, pull those leaving boots out of storage, that hornet needle from the bowels of your mod safe. For a while, you didn't even remember you had that thing. But for the life of the average player like myself, it might also mean scrounging for a little bit of gil. Because I always wanted to have the best stuff I could have while I was leveling, and that usually meant not holding back on gil that's stuck currently in the form of a harpy for a thief, or my Ochuda's Kote for monk. The kind of stuff that even if I went back for an emergency, I wouldn't need that gear to like play the job. It just makes it that much better. This meant that, like an idiot, I was constantly rebuying and reselling the same equipment, which, you just lose money on. I felt like every time I bought something and then sold it 2 days later, it had dropped in price by like 50k. What the hell? Nowadays, the leveling gear is meaningless compared to the expenses of endgame, but it is fun to look back. Bringing us to step 3. We're all geared up and ready to go after 2 to 3 days of carefully watching the auction house, waiting for that monster signet to sell because damn it, you can't stand to die as Beastmaster one more time, and your new job is ready. First time you go to smack something, you realize you have no macros. Now, if you're returning after a while, you might still have some lying around, although they probably won't make any sense anymore, and who knows what the hell you were thinking the first time you set them up. So whether that was the case, or you'd reinstalled and lost some macros, or even just deleted a few to clean up space, you would dread this process. Going through all the abilities and spells and writing the macros with equipment swaps, recast times, waits, ugh. Eventually though, you'd have it worked out. After an hour or so of reworking, copying, rewriting Scorpion Harness 10 times because you can't remember if there's a dash or 2 ends in harness, you literally have been prepping for days just to play the game on this new job that you're super pumped about. And it's what made Final Fantasy XI both amazing and sometimes awful. Because what was so good is that your character was still tied to you. It was still your character. You're just changing jobs and approaching things in a new way. You don't feel disconnected from the game at all, but also at the same time, this is your character. If you start throwing money at stuff, even just for like a quick little I wonder if I'm gonna like this, that's money you've lost. Other jobs don't have separate bags and inventory and safes. It's all just you. Regardless though, you thought about it for a while, you're sure you've made the right choice, you've set up all the macros, all your gear, you're pumped, so you run out to fight some easy prey and immediately decide they don't like the job and log off forever. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I know it was a little bit different. I just really wanted to capture that experience that I always had when changing jobs. And this would happen to me like once a month, where I'd spend a few days literally just changing out gear, selling stuff, setting up macros, and then probably stop playing after 2 seconds. How many times in a new game have you started to level like a mage and you realize 10 seconds in that you hate it? In Final Fantasy XI, that was a process. Bard was always the worst. I would constantly buy all sorts of equipment for Bard, including that monster signet I just mentioned, as well as a bunch of horns, clarinets, trumpets, whatever. By the time I actually got out to party, I'd have one party and be like, wow, I hate this job, and I'd stop. So let me know in the comments if any of this stuff ever happened to you. Seriously, I can't be the only one. I bet it's a lot smarter to have, probably just saved your gear instead of selling it all the time, but I was always kind of strapped for cash. Plus, with the way inventory space was, I mean, if I had to sell a few thief things to make room for my next job, so be it. Hope you've all enjoyed this trip down memory lane, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, you should totally think about subscribing. I've got videos coming out twice a week, and if you like this one, there's at least a chance you like some of the others that are very similar to this, so live dangerously. Let me know what you guys thought about the video in the comments and other videos you'd like to see. And finally, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Huntin for Games to keep up with all the latest stuff. See ya.